Hello. Oh shoot, you know what I just realized? Fudge. Oh, I just realized something really annoying. Whatever, I'll deal with it. So, welcome to the stream. Today's Variety Wednesday, so we're going to be switching over to the winner of the poll, which was Kingdom Hearts. Probably in about 30 minutes, something like that. But I felt like streaming, so we're here, messing around. Huh. Yeah, no, what I just realized why I sighed is because the way that my stream is set up, in order to hear Dolphin or whoever in Discord call, I'm gonna have to find a way. I guess I could just like play the game music out of my monitor. But that stinks in its own way, because then it might get picked up into my microphone. But I guess that's really my only choice, huh? Maybe it won't sound too bad. I could always ask chat anyway. Alright, so I'm tier listing stuff while we wait. This is a very basic game genre tier list. I thought, you know what? I like video games. I like different genres as well. Let's frickin' do it. Action adventure starting off. Got Lara Croft over here. Action adventure. I think I like action adventure. I'll say yes. I'm not like super strong about it, but you know what? I do like I'm trying to think of like what games though that I like really like in action adventure though. Like specifically. I mean, I have played all these genres, but like I'm trying to think of like a specific game that I really enjoy a part of that genre. I feel strongly about it though. I do think that overall, like at least what it is, like yeah, I like it. I like that kind of game. Arcade, very simplistic games, going for high score. I'd go meh, honestly. I did grow up playing a lot of arcade games because my uncle was big into arcade games. I'm a big Dig Dug fan. But like, honestly, they're just a little too simple. I mean, I'm not going to just say no, I wouldn't play it, but it's just meh, you know? Like, I would play it if it was there, but I'm not going to like spend a bunch of time on it. Fighting? I respect fighting games. I really do. No comment is like not what I would say. Like I do have comments. I'd say mid. A lot of people love fighting games. I'm just not good at them, really, is the thing. But I mean, I love Smash, and it's technically a fighting game. I guess I'll say yes. I really suck at traditional fighting games, though. I don't know, that is a tough one, admittedly. FPS? No. I mean, that one's obvious for me. Y'all know I hate FPS games. I despise FPS games, bruh. Ever since I was a kid, I've despised FPS games. I can't think of a single FPS game that I actually enjoy. Not specifically first-person shooters. And I've tried a bunch. At least when I was younger. Nowadays, I don't really even try them because I just expect to not like them. Music. I'd actually say mid. I guess when I was a kid, I liked music games. Well, this counts for rhythm games, though, doesn't it? You know what? That changes my mind. I'm going to say yes. I mean, I guess they're all technically rhythm games, but I was more so thinking of, like, Guitar Hero. But I love rhythm games. I actually really do. Like, Rhythm Heaven. Hell, I freaking love Persona, the Persona dancing games. Maybe I wouldn't put it as high as that, though. I guess I should put fighting in mid. Because it's like, either I love it or I hate it. Depending on what the style of the game is. I mean, I love fighters. I love Smash. But, like, I would even go as far to say that I, like, specifically dislike Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter. Because I think that they rely too heavily on, like, knowledge of combos, right? At least for me. I do respect those games, though, because they're highly competitive. I guess same thing for SPSs. Like, I respect FPSs for what they do, you know? Highly competitive games that you could just get better and better at. I highly respect that. Yeah, I mean, what else is there to say? It's just not really my thing. But I do respect both of those. Yeah, I think that's fair, just for the fact that it's... I do enjoy rhythm games, though. I mean, y'all look at me right now. Look at me and tell me I don't like platformers. Of course I like platformers. I'm a huge Mario fan. I always have been. Hell, the first video game I ever played was Donkey Kong Country 2. That's like a god tier platformer. I guess it's in a bit of an opposite way of like an FPS. Like, I think FPSs and platformers are like complete opposites of each other, right? Like, but they have one thing in common, and that's that, like, you know, the more you play, I guess you could say this about any game, but the more you play it, the better you get. But what I like about both of those styles is that you could directly see the impact, right? Like, if you die to something, if you die to, like, a pit or something in a platformer, you're instantly gonna, like, know for the next attempt, like, oh, yeah, all right, I know better this time. Or, oh, wait, I know how to deal with this enemy now. Obviously, it's a very opinionated list, so you can say the same thing about a lot of these games, but I don't know, something about the gameplay loop in platformers is really engaging to me. I like getting better and finding ways to play levels faster and more efficiently and stuff like that. Maybe it's a bit nostalgia glasses for platformers, but I don't know. I love platformers. Hell, even to this day, like, I've played Super Mario Wonder, and I freaking love that game, so there you go. Puzzle games, I think, are mid. I mean, can I even think of a puzzle game that I, like, really, really enjoy? I guess Portal. But, like, I guess Tetris counts. I guess I'd say mid. I don't really have strong feelings about it, really. Racing, I'd actually go as far to say meh. The only racing game that I actually like is, like, Mario Kart. But, like, those traditional racing games, like, I don't know, like NASCAR or whatever the frick, like, I could care less. I wouldn't put no, because, again, I am still a pretty big Mario Kart fan, and I can respect racing as well. Like, I could probably go to any friend's house and play any racing game and instantly know what it is that I have to do, right? Like, it doesn't take as much practice as, like, an FPS does. I do love RPGs. Would I put them above platformers? God, I actually don't know. I mean, it's definitely an oh yeah. just don't know what, though, is my thing. I mean, I do have a lot of issues with RPGs when I really sit back and think about it. Like, especially nowadays, I feel like when I was a kid, I loved any RPG that I get my hands on. But nowadays, like, I look at so many RPGs and I go, man, like, this takes too much grinding, or, like, it's kind of like artificial difficulty, right? Like, you make your character stronger, but it's not like you are getting more skilled, right? I mean, you can, don't get me wrong, you can still get better at, like, a battling system than RPG has in place. I think that's fair. Would I really put platformer as my all-time favorite genre, though? Maybe? Yeah, maybe. I think, Simulation. I actually do like simulation. I'm gonna put sport down here with FPS, but not as bad as FPS. Bro, I'm such an FPS hater, I know. I think of all, like, the millions of sports clones games. I mean, it really goes to show that the only sports games that I like are the frickin' Mario sports games. Listen, man, they're fun, okay? They're like party games at that point. But, like, the traditional, like, real people sports games, like, I could care less, you know? It's like, why not just play the sport myself in that case? But obviously, like, the Mario sports games, like, those scraps are, they're insane, you know? I don't know what to do for simulation. I do like it, though. Like, seeing how it turns out, trying to maximize. Yeah, that's fair. Let's put it right there. Strategy, I mean, if chess is, like, a part of it. I mean, chess isn't really like a video game, though. But, I mean, it's here, right? Strategy. I do like strategizing. And that's how I play Pokemon. Like, honestly, I would not even consider how I play Pokemon as an RPG. Because, honestly, the specific ways that I play Pokemon is the opposite of what an RPG intends, right? Like, I play Pokemon like a strategy game. I guess if I put it that way, this has to be the top of oh yeah. Right? I mean, that's literally, like, what I do. As a streamer, even. Thinking through things, getting through it. It's very satisfying because you immediately see the result. I mean, hell, if I'm taking chess quite literally here, I mean, chess is one of my favorite games of all time. That's pretty valid, to be fair. Alright, almighty genre tier list. I guess this is pretty fair. I mean, obviously, like, I've said this before about when it comes to tier listing, like, a lot of times I like to try to, like, do lists that are, like, based on, like, what I think is the best in, like, a game or something like that. Like, not really about, like, how I feel about it, but obviously this is very how I feel about it, right? I mean, you literally cannot make an objective video game genre tier list. I mean, they'd all have to be an S tier. Hell, if I was looking at it from the outside, I actually think FPS is S tier. But, like, you know, it's just not for me, right? This is the kind of list that needs to be, like, very, very opinionated, right? But, like, if I was going to say, like, what genre... I mean, how would you even, like, quantify that, right? How would you quantify a video game genre list that... I mean, I don't like saying the word objective because no tier list is truly objective. But like, how could you sit here and come up with what the best video game genre is? It's kind of impossible, right? Yeah. I guess this is fine. Would I put platformers above strategy, though? Something about strategy being my favorite genre doesn't feel right. But the way that I play most of my games, I do love strategizing, man. Hell, you could even consider, like, Pikmin to be a strategy game. I mean, I'd still put RPG up here, especially for my childhood, but nowadays I really just don't even, like... I really don't play RPGs anymore, do I? Not anymore. And again, I would not count Pokemon as an RPG. Not for me. The way I play it, it's not an RPG. It just isn't. I automatically level to a specific level cap. I don't really even have RPG elements at that point. I mean, it's quite literally a strategy game. Yeah, I guess this is fair. I think these two are interchangeable. I do think RPG is third in the top. Alright, well, whatever. That was pretty simple. Wonder what else I could do a tier list on. Just while I mess around. I'm just vibing. Genre tier list. Coin. How about console? How about video game consoles? See, the problem with lists like these is that there's so many of these, I don't even know what the frick these are, right? So many of these, like, really, like, out of nowhere. Hey, yo. Yeah, these are, like, the basic ones. I could do this. Does this even have the current gen, though? That's PS4. They don't even have PS5 on here, do they? No. They don't. Alright, I can't do that then. Switch is here. Is PS5 here? PS4. No, I don't think I have it on here either. Modded console? How specific? Wait, this has gotta have it, right? No, PS5 still isn't on here, bro. What's going on? Wait, it says 2022. Wait a minute, am I tripping? It's gotta be on here. That's PS4. what is this? Wait, that's PS3. PS1, PS2, PS3, PS4, but then on PS5. Well, the fudge. Did the PS5 really come out after 2022? No way, right? No, I know it came out sooner than that. So they modified it without actually... But you see, this is Every, and I'm not... Ugh. Come on, man. I guess I could just do Nintendo consoles, huh? I mean, that'd be simpler. Again, though, there's a lot of filler in here. Whatever, I could do this. Clearly, I'm optimal for this kind of list as a Nintendo fanboy. Even though I really don't like how much filler there is here. All right, whatever. Where's my man, the NES? NES? Oh, shoot. Could do the Famicom as well. Where'd it go? Okay. I actually do like the NES. The problem, I guess if I'm going to count the games into it as well as, like, part of it, I'd say B. There are still a lot of good games on NES, but, like, obviously, you know, at this time period, there was nothing too complex, and the console couldn't even handle anything too complex. The most complex game on the NES is, like, the original Zelda, or Zelda 2, Metroid. I mean, Mario 3, honestly, it still holds up so well to this day. Mario 3 is a fantastic game. I'd actually argue one of the best games of all time. Just for the time it came out and the fact that it still holds up as well as it does to this day is kind of crazy. But, you know, I think as a whole, there really isn't too much meat here in terms of, like, the games. Like, not much. It's very, like, arcadey, right? Hey, welcome to the stream, Grease. How you doing? I just did a video game genre tier list. I'm so disappointed right now. What'd you do? Ruined my favorite song. Sad, bro. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to hear that. Now, Super Nintendo, on the other hand, would I actually put it in S tier? I think Super Nintendo's really good. So many great games. Super Metroid, Link to the Past, Super Mario World, Donkey Kong Country 2, all the Donkey Kong countries. Kingdom Hearts sucks. I don't know what to say, America. It won the poll. I didn't vote for it. I put in my own vote. I put in Final Fantasy and... No, I put Final Fantasy... I was going to say Last of Us. I think that was my third choice. I put Final Fantasy and Bloodstained. Tell me you're not going to play through the whole game. Is it long? I mean, I'll see. I think it's so long. I mean, if it really, you know, if it takes longer than Bloodborne did, then I guess I could shelf it. Or I could cross it over into different days. Bloodborne took a whole month. I still did it. It was fine. If I enjoy the game and the chat enjoys the game, it doesn't matter, right? Anyway, no. Super Nintendo I actually think is valid for S tier. It is old and has limitations like the NES, but its games still hold up so brilliant to this day. Again, Super Metroid, Super Mario World, Link to the Past, all just like fantastic games. All the Donkey Kong countries, even the Final Fantasy games on here are good. Chrono Trigger? Oh my god. One of the greatest games of all time, Chrono Trigger. Oh, Mega Man X! All the Mega Man X's. Well, on SNES, obviously. God. So many good games. And like, it really like, in terms of like 2D gaming, like they really peaked on this console. They did so well. And Super Metroid to this day is known as one of the best Metroidvanias. It just is. I mean, I think nowadays most people would just instantly say Hollow Knight, but Super Metroid, you know, like it's still really, really good. Holds up so well. I sent you this song. You'll hear where they ruined it. I'm not interested right now, Grease. Maybe I'll check it out later. No, I think Super Nintendo is definitely worthy of S tier. I'll put it this way, America. If you know, if I don't like it, I'm gonna stop. I did the same thing for Halo. You know, I'm not against stopping, but if I enjoy the game, then I'll keep playing it. Right? Or hell, even if I notice, I mean, this is like kind of a meta thing, but I'm usually not enjoying streaming a game if I notice that people don't enjoy watching the stream. So I'm probably not going to enjoy it as much if people don't like watching it. So if I notice that people aren't actually as interested as they are, even though they voted for it, then whatever, right? I'll box it. Okay. No, but I have played long games, like month-long games. You know, it is what it is. Speaking of, by the way, America, are you free on Tuesdays to watch God of War? I'm really excited to play Ragnarok. I really, really am. I got it. Wait, I got it right here. I got the disc because I got a discount at the store. It was only like $30, so usually it's 70. Couldn't pass that up, right? Yeah, Super Nintendo's go-to console though. Noise. Let's see. I guess N64 is next, right? N64, definitely not as high as S. Maybe I'll do A. Its controller is the worst of any Nintendo console. You could fight me on that. I don't give a damn. It's like fundamentally a stupid controller. Bro, what were they thinking? What were they thinking? It also has a terrible D-pad. God, and like, I mean, you know, there's the whole story with Mario Party and like the people that would like ruin the palms of their hands doing the stick. But the games are still good. Like, even though the controller sucks ass, the games are still good. Obviously, Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask are like classics. Especially Ocarina of Time is a classic. I think Majora's Mask still holds up very well to this day. Ocarina, not so much. Mario 64 holds up brilliantly to this day, right? Obviously discounting the graphics, but besides the graphics, like, I mean, the gameplay is still really good in Mario 64. Let me think. Banjo-Kazooie's great. Paper Mario, the original, is really good. But yeah, not as many like huge hitters as SNES, I feel like. I mean, Ocarina of Time and Mario 64 are huge hitters, obviously, but not as much variety, right? Like, there's like, I can't think of a single, I mean, besides Paper Mario, I can't think of a single good RPG on N64, for example. GoldenEye was really big. I guess this is the first time that a first-person shooter, like, you know, gained like big popularity. Everybody loved GoldenEye. Game Boy was before SNES? No, you're right, Grease. I actually forgot. We could do that. I think A is fair. There's still, like, massive games on here that hold up to this day pretty well. But I do also think there's a lot of flaws for the N64. Where's the Game Boy? OG Game Boy, where you at? No. I hate all the filler. Oh wait, I'm dumb. It's right here. First ever Smash Bros is a good point though, America. I mean, I don't know. Even with all that though, I still think N64 is A. The controller is a huge flaw. It literally injured people. It injured people. And also the first Mario parties too. Big deal, party game. Sports games, right? Mario Tennis. I don't know. I guess I could be sold to bottom of S. I just think there's not as much like really crazy hitters on the N64. Like SNES has games that hold up to this day and are still unique to this day. All the games on N64 have been done better at this point. Like Mario 64, Mario Odyssey is the thing. There's better Zeldas out there than Ocarina of Time. I guess you could debate for Majora's Mask, but at least graphics-wise, like, obviously, right? Like, you could say the graphics on SNES are timeless, right? Introduce Waluigi. Insane! Top of S! Anyway, I'm kind of a hater of the Game Boy. Listen, I say this all the time. Pokemon, I actually think the biggest contender for Game of the Year, and it makes the most sense of any Pokemon game, is the original Gen 1. Because it's insane that they got it on this freaking console. This console sucks ass. All it has is Tetris and Pokemon. Tell me I'm wrong. And I guess Mario Land 2 is pretty good. But those are like outliers. There is nothing good on this console. And yes, I mean, clearly I know why, because it's less powerful than even the NES. By quite a bit, too. Like, it's a lot less powerful than the NES. The fact that they got Pokemon to work on this console is a miracle. It is a miracle. I think, honestly, for Tetris and Pokemon, I'll put it to C. But, God, it does not have much going for it. Its games are just not good. It was the first portable console. That's true. No, that's absolutely fair. I think it's fair not to put it in D for that. But it also doesn't even have a backlight. Like, have you ever played on a Game Boy, America? It is miserable. I mean, again, I know that obviously it's a product of its time, but like no backlight means you have to like shine it into a light. Is it really even portable at that point? You basically have to play it at home, because if you play it in a car, then you can't see jack. It's terrible. It's actually terrible. You can't see what's on the screen. Like, I mean, it's the same for the Game Boy Color with the backlight thing, but I think the Game Boy Advance actually gave you a backlight, which was insane. Basically, a backlight, it's like a little light that shines the screen so that way you can actually see what's going on, no matter your outside circumstance. That's a big deal, man. I mean, that's like the N64 controller. Like, if you can't even see what's on the screen, that's, you know, you have to be in a certain circumstance to actually be able to play it. But, you know, I can't deny... maybe I could be convinced to bottom of B. Because I can't deny, like, what about the huge Pokemon craze, man? Like, being able to trade with your friends. I know you had to have a link cable, but that crap is crazy. You know, trading your Pokemon and, I guess that's really the only multiplayer this thing had. But, like, you'd hear stories of people, like, bringing their Game Boys to playgrounds and stuff and, like, trading mons with each other. That's cool. Right? Because back then, games were not nearly as wide known. Having this was basically like having like a deck of cards, right? I guess I could be argued to bottom of B, but I don't know. It's games, man. Hell, I mean, even the NES had Tetris, like... I don't know. Pokemon, I mean that's kind of what I mean. Like, Tetris is on everything. Like, Pokemon is really the only thing this thing has going for it. And at the time, I mean, Pokemon Red and Blue, even in terms of the NES standards, like, whew, that is a massive game to bring on the go, I gotta say. Especially for the time. Game Boy Color is after 64? Okay, thank you. Appreciate that. Game Boy Color, obviously it introduces color. It's still not as powerful as the NES, or maybe it's about as powerful. Not by much though. I mean, what specific games, right? There's Pokemon Gold and Silver. There was Link's Awakening. I guess Link's Awakening's on the original Game Boy, isn't it? That's a pretty big game. But then again, you'd almost always play the Game Boy Color version anyway. Is Mario Land 2 on color or regular? Technically regular. But I mean, obviously you could play any... See, this is kind of... Color kind of feels more like a version of the Game Boy more than the Advance did. Like, the Advance is definitely its own console, for sure. Like, it's complete... Like, it's a complete overhaul. But the Color is, like, basically the same console. It just has some unique games. I really can't think of that many. Gold and Silver... Link's Awakening DX... Honestly, I think I do this. When I'm really sitting down and thinking about it, it's really not... I mean, it is still Color, though. They should probably be on the same tier. They basically do the same things. In terms of, like, reinventing the space, the Game Boy definitely has way more going for it, right? Yeah, I guess that's fair. Virtual Boy was before 64. Well, that's clearly D. I mean, that's clearly D. Have you ever played on a Virtual Boy? I've played one game on Virtual Boy, and it was tennis. And goddamn, it sucks ass. I mean, hey, this is the original VR. That's all I'm saying. It's also portable. Bring this huge thing. It's bigger than a laptop. I mean, you know, is there really any argument for this? That it's the worst sold Nintendo console by far. It's not even close. It's actually not even close. Advance. Game Boy Advance. So they actually have a backlight to this console. Thank God. That's a big deal. I played this Game Boy Advance. I'll rank this one. The SP. Game Boy Advance SP is so good. Lots of really good remakes of classic SNES games because the Game Boy Advance is... It's not as powerful as the SNES, but it's very close, right? It's on the same level. No Variety Wednesday today? No, there is. I'm waiting for Dolphin, though, because ended up... Kingdom Hearts actually won the poll. And that's her favorite game, so I thought it'd be more fun to play the game with her in the call. Very stark contrast to the games that we've been playing. I'm not sure if I'm going to like it or not. I am very critical. Which Kingdom Hearts, the first one? Yeah. But I think it's like a remake? Have you played it? Do you think it's good? Murica is like an avid hater of Kingdom Hearts. Anyway, I think Game Boy Advance is great. I definitely think it's at least above NES. It has a lot of great games on it. Oh my god, Mother 3's on this console though, dude. Talk about an experience. On this thing? Fudge. You know, Gen 3 of Pokemon. Big deal. All the Mario remakes. And they're portable. I mean, this is how I first experienced Mario 3. Hell, this is my first... You know what's crazy? This is technically my first video game console of all time. It was the Game Boy Advance. This is where I played Donkey Kong Country 2, and it was the remake on this console. And, you know, making all these classic, really strong SNES games portable, that's a pretty big deal. You know? All the classic Mario games, all Donkey Kong Country games. Was Link to the Past remade? I think it was. I could be wrong. I think it might have been. Obviously, they are just remakes. Is that enough to bring it into bottom A? I mean, Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga is a great game. God, Mother 3 alone, I think, brings it into A, at least for me. I mean, that game, it's an experience, man. It really is. It's my favorite story-based game of all time. Sonic Advance. It's been years. I liked it when I was a kid. I don't know if it still holds up. Well, I know Dolphin played it when she was an adult, so... And now it's her favorite game of all time, so it's probably not too bad. Plus, in general, I'm pretty good when it comes to old games. Like, I mean, I play old games all the time, so... That's not really going to be an issue for me, I don't think. I think you hear a little bias. I mean, of course, it's a tier list. What can I say? You hyped for Ragnarok, though? I am. I was just saying, I have it. I plan on playing it probably Tuesday next week, so if you could show up to that stream, that'd be nice. I am hyped. Very, very hyped. Hey, say it's bias or whatever, man. There's some good games on this console. And it has a backlight. It's actually playable, unlike these two. And you can still play any of the Game Boy games on it. It's backwards compatible. Yeah, I mean, it's good. And I mean, hell, being able to play these other Game Boy games with a backlight, that's a big deal. Can't wait to see. Yeah, I'm excited. All right, GameCube. So GameCube and Game Boy Advance actually have a lot of connectivity. The Game Boy, we're getting into a point where I actually grew up with these consoles. A lot of people would instantly say S. But I don't know. I kind of see the cracks of this console. Like, this to me feels like it's a party console. You know what I mean? If this is not best controller, that's fair. It does have a good controller. But, and also a very unique controller. Like, this controller is pretty genius, right? Making the A button, like, the biggest button there. Because, you know, that's what most games are going to use. Like, advanced dialogue, or jumping, or whatever the frick. Let me think. I mean, okay, obviously there's, like, Mario Sunshine. Melee's a huge one. Mario Kart Double Dash. All the Mario parties on this console. Metroid Prime. Oh shoot, maybe this is kind of crazy, huh? Wind Waker, Twilight Princess. Twilight Princess is on Wii as well, though. Damn, maybe this is A. Animal Crossing's a big one. Luigi's Mansion, fair. Colosseum. Oh yeah, Pokemon Colosseum. Technically the first like main series Pokemon, well, it's not main series, but first 3D Pokemon game, right, with a story. Strikers, even though Strikers wasn't all that amazing until Wii. Yeah, I think it is A. It's just like it's hard for me to not note it. Like this is the second least sold Nintendo well, actually no, that's not true. It's the third least sold Nintendo console. But yeah, I mean there are a lot of good games here. There's also like a lot of like strange like misses though. Like this console well, maybe not. I mean, it still had a 3D Mario. It didn't have a 2D Mario, but neither did N64. And the Game Boy Advance kind of made up for that. Pikmin, damn. So many good IPs are on here, aren't there? Yeah, you know what? You kind of convinced me. I was gonna say B, but I've kind of been convinced on this one, I think. There's a lot of good games on this console. Oh, wait, 1,000 Year Doors on this console. All right, hold on. Hold on. Do I think all those games make it better than N64? I mean, N64 was revolutionary. Let's just be real. But goddamn, the N64 controller is really bad. The N64 controller is really bad. I mean, they have a lot of the same stuff, right? They have Mario parties. They have a 3D Mario. They both have a Mario Kart. Double Dash is a lot more replayable than 64, though. Melee's a lot better than Smash 64. The Mario parties are a bit debatable. You could argue that 64 Mario Party is actually better. The GameCube has so many party games. That's hard. I actually really don't know which would be better. I actually think the GameCube has better games than N64. You know, I'm gonna do it. Like, when I really sit back and think about it, the N64, I mean, the GameCube has a lot of different genres, too. Alright, fair enough. I think I'll leave it like that. Moving on, Nintendo DS. I think the DS, honestly, like, no bias. I think it actually deserves S. I think this is peak portable console. Like, for the time it came out, this thing was, like, insane, right? Dual screens, touch screen with good touch controls, you know? Has a lot of good games. Let me think. I mean, it came out and instantly blew away the waters with the same damn game for Revolutionary, for portable, as they did with home consoles. Freaking Mario 64 broke scenes for the N64 for the home consoles, and instantly they do the same damn thing with the DS. Release Mario 64 DS, first like fully 3D game on a portable console. Like, I mean, we complain a lot about 64 DS nowadays because it doesn't have a, you know, a joystick, obviously. But like, damn, man, like that's really crazy to have a whole 3D platformer on the go. I mean, I played that so much when I was a kid. New Super Mario Bros. DS, I mean, even though New Super Mario Bros. As a franchise really got stale, that first game on DS, I mean, it really has a lot going for it, you know, and it's the first in so many years. The Pokemon games on DS were really good, Gen 4 and 5. And it had wireless connection. I mean, the wireless connection alone, God, this is one of the things I love about DS. It's so smart. Bowser's Inside Story, Rhythm Heaven, Explorers of Sky, all these amazing games. The DS having the downloadable play, this is like a nostalgia thing that I bet a lot of people won't remember, but like, you could play games with people as long as they had a DS. They didn't even need to own the other game. Like, you could have like Mario Kart DS, and they would just go to download play, and you could play together. Like, you could be on the bus going to school, right? I'd put in my Mario Kart DS, and we'd just play. Just that simple. Same for Mario Party DS. Or, what are some other download play games? Hell, New Super Mario Bros. DS. I guess these are all Mario games, aren't they? I mean, they did a good job with co-op. Same thing for Mario 64 DS. Lots of really good co-op experiences, and you only need one copy of the game. You know, I think that's actually one of my negatives for the 3DS is that they didn't do the same thing. I think that really stinks. Julian, welcome to the stream. And thank you for the resubscription. Yeah, I think the DS is honestly really good. And like, even just like little things, like closing the DS to preserve energy. Like, listen, that may seem like a little thing, but like, we didn't have that for the other Game Boys. Technically, the SP, I think, did that as well. I'm not 100% sure, though, if it like paused the game you're on, though. It might have just like closed it. Either way, like, I don't know. I think the DS is worthy. It's also the first portable console to have online. Hell, did the GameCube even have online? I don't think it did. I don't think the GameCube even had online. Am I tripping? I don't remember doing it. Yeah. The DS is honestly kind of insane when you really think of it, about it as a piece of tech. This thing is also durable, I'd like to add. You know, the way they tested the durability of the DS is Reggie literally would drop how they would test it, he would drop the DS onto a hard floor 5 times. And if it, like, from, you know, how, and that man is tall. He's like 6'5" or something. He drops it from his head onto a hard floor 5 times, and if it can still turn on, it's good to sell. And these things are durable because of that. Now, granted, I still found a way to break this thing, but that's because I was a dumbass kid and purposely tried to rip it apart. Great console. I don't know. I think it's great. Does it eclipse the SNES? Man, there's a lot of good games on SNES. I think the problem with DS is that the games are, unfortunately, they're not as, they don't hold up as well, right? I mean, I love Bowser's Inside Story. I love a lot of the games on there. I mean, even New Soup. I guess the Pokemon games are probably the most replayable. But, like, those are the only games on here that I think kind of have a timeless art style. All the other ones, they're a little too pixely, I think. Something about them. They don't look as good nowadays. But the SNES games, they feel a lot more, I don't know. They feel a lot more stylized and replayable. DS is a genius console, though. The download play is such a big point for me. And online. I mean, you know, if I'm going back to Pokemon, this is the first time you could trade across the world. Fudge, man. This is a good piece of tech. But it doesn't hold up. I know it doesn't hold up. Alright. Let's put it there, though. I definitely think it's deserving of an S. It's a great console. Wii. This is going to be a controversial one. I also think this is S. A lot of gamers hate the Wii. Because it's a casual console, right? But, like, this is a genius console when you really think about it. This is the only console on Earth that you could play with your grandma. Like, literally. I mean, literally, and I did. Like, I'd play Wii Sports with my grandma, and we'd play Wii Bowling. And she'd beat me! Name a game that you can play with your grandparents that you get beaten in. Full skill. Like, and it wasn't BS, right? Like, it wasn't like RNG. Like, she just beat me. She's my grandmom. And we'd play full stop Wii Sports. I mean, again, it's like, honestly, the DS and Wii are very similar in that they're both a genius in different ways. In baseball ones. I mean, because to gamers, I think the controls are annoying. Because, you know, we're so used to controllers. Like, you know, with, like, actual controllers, right? Like, this, you know? But, like, to someone who doesn't play games, the Wii Remote is very fluid, right? It makes sense. You point at the screen and you press A. It's fluid to a non-gamer. A regular gamer would feel a lot better with a regular controller, obviously, because we're used to it. But for somebody who doesn't play games, I mean, hell, Andrea tells me all the time how much fun she had playing the Wii and the DS, because they're very user-friendly for someone who doesn't play games. And I mean, you know, even outside of how genius the console is and actually has working motion controls, like, and honestly, really not bad motion controls either. Like, for the time, like, I actually still think, compared to the other, like, Xbox had the Kinect, PlayStation had the PlayStation Move, those sucked. Like, those were just bad. And the Wii came out before both of those and crushed it. It did. It just worked. It was a little annoying sometimes trying to set up the sensor bar and, like, move it between, like, different areas. And that's fair, I guess, but I don't know. I mean, in hell, it still has, like, amazing games. Like, Mario Galaxy is still known as a world-class game with one of the best soundtracks ever. Skyward Sword, I guess. Really good party games, the Mario parties. Well, specifically Mario Party 8. Mario Kart Wii is a big one. Super Paper Mario. Metroid Other M. But you know, now that I'm thinking about it, maybe there aren't as many crazy games as I thought. I mean, Mario Galaxy and 1 and 2 are obviously insane games. There was a lot of trash on Wii. Strikers and Sluggers are both fantastic games. I mean, you want to talk about a party console, the Wii is the party console. I mean, I still think it deserves S for the pure... And Brawl is still a big one. Brawl's a great game. Like, you could bring this to anybody's house or whatever and just have a blast. Hell, even, like... I remember I would bring my Wii over to, like, friends' houses, and they were Xbox gamers. You know, they'd be playing FPSs, but we'd still have a blast playing party games on the Wii. Because they were just good. Mario and Sonic Olympic games. Just good party games, right? But you know what? Now that I think about it, I think I will leave it at the bottom of S. I think in terms of its genius design itself, I'd say it's top of S. But yeah, I guess its games aren't all that insane. The more I think about it. Yeah, I still think the SNES is like... It's hard to beat the SNES, man. It has such good games. Yeah, I think that's fair. I still think it's genius. 3DS, I definitely do not think 3DS is S. I did grow up with the 3DS, but like, well, I grew up more with the DS, but I think that it's mainly because the games don't have as much like cooperability. Like, you need to have the opposing game in order to play with this thing. Like, it doesn't have as much like sense of co-op as the DS did. It is still like at the time, it was a powerful piece of portable tech, right? Mario Maker, yeah, but obviously I give that to the Wii U, not the 3DS, because the 3DS version of Mario Maker kind of sucked ass. It was either you could only build levels on it or you could only play levels on it. It's one of the two. It sucked though. It was an inferior version in every single way. I would only give that to the Wii U, really. Mario 3D Land, Pokemon XY, Sun and Moon, Tomodachi Life, Miitopia. Why can I not think of like many big 3DS games? I literally grew up with the 3DS. Are there just not that many interesting ones? They remade Ocarina of Time to actually be like pretty good. Wow, am I tripping? There really aren't that many like huge 3DS games, are there? I guess the Ace Attorney games? God, the Ace Attorney games are really good for the DS. I feel like I'm missing something so massive. For some reason, wow, I really can't remember much. Detective Pikachu. Maybe it's B. I mean, it's still powerful, and it actually has, like... You could download games on the console itself. That's a pretty big deal, to be fair. You don't have to bring a million cartridges with you if you're going on a plane ride. Like, if you're getting on a plane or you're, you know, going on a long car trip. You don't have to bring a million game cartridges with you anymore. You just download them right onto the console through the eShop. Getting something to eat and then I'll be there. Alright, Dolphin. I think that's fair. Would I put the NES above it, though? I feel like I'm being a little too hard on it, because I can't remember any, like, major games for the 3DS. Luigi's Mansion 2? Like... Yeah, maybe this is just a Pokemon machine, really. Like, the DS had a lot of great games besides Pokemon. I feel like the only big memories I have of the 3DS are just Pokemon. Huh. How about that, huh? That's kind of crazy, actually. Alright, well, whatever. NES over 3DS? 3DS has Sun and Moon and X and Y. And Oros. I mean, you know what? Even though it's just Pokemon, those are still, like, really good co-op games. And they do still have a lot of replayability. So I'll leave it above NES. Like, NES in comparison, like, it doesn't have as many, like, massive games. I mean, obviously because of the time it came out, but, like, it doesn't have much of a sense of cooperability, like, especially with the online stuff. Pokemon brought Game Boy up as well. Yeah, for sure. All right. I mean, honestly, I don't even think that that's like against it, right? Like having Pokemon is a pretty big deal, right? Um, Pokemon's like it's a phenomenon, right? You get so many hours on a console because of Pokemon games. Um, Wii U, I mean, if we're talking objectively, it's probably D tier. I guess this list I'm kind of like trying to be like somewhat objective here. I love the Wii U though. Like, I mean, it is a bad console. Like, I can fully see why it's okay, it's not as bad as the Virtual Boy, to be fair. But, like, I like the Wii U. I like the Wii U. I have so many great memories with it. I think the Wii U is like... Okay, well, this is... If you don't count the Virtual Boy, this is the least sold Nintendo console. New Super Luigi U, pause. There are some pretty good games on Wii U, though. New Super Luigi U. Splatoon's a big one. That's honestly a really good IP. They just made on the spot. Pikmin 3 is an amazing game. God, I spent so much time on Pikmin 3. Nintendo Land's a really fun and novel party game. Wii Party U. Terrible Mario Party game. Captain Toad. Mario 3D World still holds up to this day really well. Mario Kart 8. Wow. Mario Kart 8's a big one. You know what's funny? I actually can think of way more good games on Wii U than I can on 3DS. Rayman Legends, even though that's cross-platform, but it was originally going to be a Wii U exclusive. Mario Maker itself was a phenomenon, by the way. I think Mario Maker alone is comparable, maybe even higher than that of Pokemon, right? I mean, freaking, I remember back when, like, Markiplier went and bought a Wii U because he was so excited for Mario Maker. I'll never forget that. He made Mario Maker videos. And he said, I just bought my Wii U and Mario Maker today. And I was like, what? Because you got to understand, the Wii U was terribly... the Wii U was just objectively, like, really badly marketed. Not saying it was badly designed, because it's basically just a Wii with a gamepad. And, like, it's hard to say that that's bad design, really. It's just, like, you know, like... It doesn't have much going for it. Like, it is technically... I'm calling you. Oh, I'm in Triple Threat. You could join. Dolphin. I'm in Triple Threat streaming.
Sorry, I am stupida.
It's okay, estupida. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Good, I'm glad. I'm gonna speedrun this. I'm almost done. I think I just have Nintendo Switch, right? Left? And Switch, yeah. Okay, last one. Well, I'll put... I guess I think it's fair to put Wii U next to 3DS. The Wii U is a bad console, but, like... It does have some merit. It'd be so disingenuous to... I mean, yes, it marketed bad, but it does still have good games. Am I too biased? I might be too biased. I might be too biased.
I'm not allowed to have an opinion on the Wii U because I don't like it. I think it's like D tier because...
Okay,
like,
no, say, for sure.
It came in, released like 3 super famous games, and then just disappeared.
Wait, what are the super famous games?
I don't know. Mario Maker? I don't know.
Mario Maker was a big one. I mean, I grew up with the Wii U as well, so, like, I'm definitely biased. I don't know. It probably should be here. It also is the worst in terms of, cross-platform games. It has no cross-platform. It just has nothing. But, like, for a Nintendo fan, it's really not bad. But it's really only for Nintendo fans. But but it does still have more. It has better games than the Game Boy, man.
But the Game Boy, I feel, was revolutionary.
It was revolution. All right, fine. I'm gonna put Game Boy bottom of B. I said the same thing. It was revolutionary. But like the only games this thing really has is like Pokemon and Tetris.
Yeah.
But it was revolutionary.
Yeah.
I'll do top of C, I guess. The Color is more so like a version. Color has like 3 version exclusives, but I guess one of them's Pokemon, so fair enough. Whatever, that's fine. It's definitely not D, by the way. It's not on the. If it was, I'd have to make a new tier for Virtual Boy.
Yeah.
It's not on the same tier of Virtual Boy. Switch is the last one, right? I mean, I think the Switch actually is my favorite. Like, obviously I don't have nostalgia for it. Like, you know, this came out when I was already an adult. But like, it's a genius console. Kind of similar to the Wii. Like, you know, it's a hybrid. You could pick it up and go take a dump while still playing. Like, that's a big deal, all right? You know how many times, like, I'm playing Mario Galaxy on the Wii or whatever, and, like, I gotta go take a dump, but I want to keep playing? I could do that on the Switch now. Insane.
Yeah, but you could have done that on the 3DS, too.
Yeah, but, like, I can't play the 3DS on a TV.
True.
With HD graphics, albeit, at the time this came out, obviously its graphics are not, you know, very good compared to its competitors, but I mean, it's still an upgrade compared to other Nintendo consoles, which is what it's being compared to. So, I definitely still think it's S. I do think it's a genius console. God, the genius of the Wii and the DS are so good, though.
The removable controllers, though?
What?
The removable controllers? I feel like that should factor in.
Bro, that's cool. Granted, okay, it is worth noting that you basically need to buy a Pro Controller for this thing if you want to, like, it is worth noting that because, like, the Joy-Cons are pretty uncomfortable, like.
Yeah, they're very uncomfortable.
Yeah, but as a party console, it's so novel though, right? Like, you could bring your Switch to, like, a party or your friend's house or whatever, place it on the table. You don't even need to connect to the TV. Put the stand up. You're playing on the little screen. You know how many times I'd be in high school and, like, people are playing Smash Ultimate on this little tiny screen with the Joy-Cons?
Yeah. No,
That-
we had a whole tournament.
It's
because they
cool!
connected to the
Like-
projector.
No, I'm not saying that.
that's cool.
Obviously, that's not optimal. It'd be a lot better to play on the TV. But the fact that you can do it on the little screen is cool.
You have choices, yeah.
It's. I mean, to me, I actually do think that that's kind of revolutionary. It's a very unique way of playing games. Hell, I would see people playing Mortal Kombat on this thing at frickin' lunch. Like, again, obviously, it's not optimal to play with a little Joy-Con, but the fact that you can is really cool and novel. You can still have a good time with it.
I would put it above the Wii.
Yeah, I think it has better games too. My thing with the Wii, I was actually gonna put it at the top of S even because of my big point for the Wii was that it is the only console on Earth that you could play games with your grandparents and still lose. Bro, I used to play Wii bowling with my grandma, and I'd lose.
No, you're right.
That's revolutionary. It's the only console you could play
used to
with
play-
your parents and stuff.
I used to play baseball
Yeah.
on the Wii with my dad, and I would be putting my whole, like, everything into batting the ball and throwing the ball.
Yeah.
And he would just, like, he'd be laying down, and he'd barely swing the remote, and he'd get, like, a home run out of the park.
That's the main reason why.
Sweating.
That's the main reason why the Wii is S, because like it's the only console on Earth, not even just between Nintendo consoles. It's the only console on Earth that you could play with like any age group, like, and it's instantly understandable. Because like people that don't play games can understand the Wiimote. Gamers don't like the Wiimote, but anybody can understand it. You know.
Yeah.
But I'll still put the Switch above it. It has the same thing with, you know, you could download games on it like any regular console and bring it onto the plane, play whatever the frick you want.
Exactly.
It's a pretty big deal, man. I mean, it has like every game on Earth. It probably has most of the SNES games that I was talking about. Maybe it is just top of S. I mean, shoot, man, it has SNES on it. I guess it doesn't technically have DS games, but like, I mean, it does what the DS does. Did you grow up with a DS?
I didn't.
You didn't? Oh, okay.
I grew up with a Wii. We had a GameCube, and those are the only two.
Oh, so you didn't? Oh, well, of course. No, I should have already known you didn't. Yeah, because you probably would have.
I was gonna say.
You probably would have had a Pokemon game if you did. Everybody who owned a DS or a Game Boy or whatever portable Nintendo console had a Pokemon game. I mean, hell, the fact that the Switch, because the portable consoles having Pokemon is a pretty big deal, because it's like kind of like a cultural phenomenon, especially during the Game Boy's time. But this has that, you know. This has both your, it has your Mario's, your Zeldas, and Pokemon into one console. You know, so I think that's fair. All right, whatever. Top of S, there you go. Let's get on to Variety Wednesdays.
Yippee!
Yeah!
I've been waiting for this day.
I know you
don't
have.
Understand how ready I am.
What if I, have you seen Variety Wednesdays? Are you sure this is what you want?
What do you mean?
Have you seen Variety Wednesdays? It's mostly just me criticizing games.
It's okay.
You never know, though. I might like it.
KH1 is made to be criticized. It's
All right. Fair enough. I mean, to be fair, all the games that I did criticize, besides Halo, like, I ended up enjoying either way. plug in my monitor to my headset, but now the way that my in order for me to hear you, I need to connect it to my computer. Ew, what the fudge? Okay. Oh no, what did I do? I clicked like a setting that like... I clicked a setting that is putting a red dot on my monitor and it's pissing me off. No, don't do this to me, please. Okay, maybe if I turn it off and turn it back on, it'll just be gone. Mm-hmm. Grease, I ended up putting Switch in S tier and at the top of the very list. I just think it has everything. It's kind of a, at least in terms of Nintendo consoles, kind of a perfect console.
Your stream can't hear me, but they can hear me through your headset.
What? Are you serious?
Yeah.
Why?
I can hear myself through your headset.
That doesn't make any sense.
No, it's not that I'm quiet, Riggs. It's that
I don't think that's true. No, I think you are still being heard through... Hold on, let me... Alright, speak. Oh my god, you're right. What the hell is going on? No. Don't do this. Wait, no. I can do this. You gotta believe in me. Okay, I know how to fix it. I turned off